I do have a couple of questions that I had gotten from the website during my hiatus, and I'm going to answer one of them here in a minute. But if you have a question that you'd like me to address, I'm going to try, like I said, I'll take as many as you guys can send from a week-to-week basis, but you can send it to AskChuck at thechucktoddcast.com. Again, that email address is AskChuck at thechucktoddcast.com. You can go to the website too, at thechucktoddcast.com and click there if you somehow didn't remember the address I just gave you. But let me answer this question. It comes from Jeff Hall, and here's what he wrote a couple of days ago. He wrote this: SignalGate got wiped off the media's windscreen by the third term discussion. While the third term threat does exist, but is obviously down the road, was that just used as a smokescreen to get people to forget about SignalGate and now Gmail? Obviously, Gmail referring to the news that the National Security Advisor and some others in the Trump administration was using Gmail, which is a violation of federal open records policies, etc. Here's the thing, Jeff, is that when it comes to Trump and the various shiny metal objects that perhaps we in the larger press corps chase, the idea that they're planned, I think, is a bit overstated. Donald Trump doesn't plan anything, and in many ways, he's both a reporter's dream and a potential nightmare. What do I mean by that? Donald Trump. Let me put it in these terms. If you know the movie Anchorman, the first Anchorman, there's this great scene where they sort of make fun of Ron Burgundy, and the producers go, he'll say anything that's in that teleprompter. Anything. Well, Donald Trump will muse about any idea you give him. If you say to him, have you ever thought about making Japan the 52nd state? He might say, no, but I'll think about it. And you could immediately turn that into a headline. Donald Trump is thinking about trying to acquire Japan as America's 52nd state. This is assuming, of course, after Canada becomes the 51st state. This is the danger in asking these third term questions. On one hand, if he is actually doing things that are trying to find a legal path to do a third term, that's newsworthy. If you ask him to muse about it, is it a news story, right? That becomes the trap. And it is a very sticky topic, right? The minute it's out there, and you saw, my goodness, there are op-eds everywhere, there are law professors everywhere. And it seems like we have this news cycle about every 3 months. We were having it even the last time when people were wondering, well, is he gonna abide by the fact that he's only going to get one term, et cetera? I am very, I think that reporters ought to stop asking the question. In some ways, you may be coming, the more he's asked about it, the more he talks about it, the more normalized the idea might become. And so, look, it's always been tricky how to cover Donald Trump, which is, do you push the envelope there, get people, do you assume the worst and prepare for the worst? Or do you cover what's in front of you and sort of calibrate on some of the things that you ask? So I will say this, and maybe I'm the naive one, and some of you might chime in here and say I'm being naive. I don't think there's just no constitutional avenue for the third term. Under no circle. I've seen a few legal scholars claim there is. It is not there. The 22nd Amendment says what it says, and then the 12th Amendment takes away the loophole that's been floated, because it says if you are not eligible to be president, then you are not eligible to be vice president. Now, some might argue, well, that when the 12th Amendment language was written, there was no 22nd Amendment. But I think that's quite the reach. And I think it's sort of, it is such a long way away in a convoluted way. I will just say this. If you ask the question to him, you're doing him a favor. Do I think it was planned, though? No, nothing with Donald Trump is planned. I think we've all learned that lesson the hard way.